about to begin. And Syracuse controls to taking smarter shots. A chance for Syracuse in transition. Berkman feeding in front, a shot and a score. Pete Fiorini, the junior, with the first goal of his career.
They're fired up in the Dome. Fiorini was an Under Armour All-American, a big recruit, and had trouble finding some minutes early in his career, but he's from upstate New York, a Baldwinville kid, grew up in the shadows of the Dome, and Berkman, the Florida product, with his head up, and catches a streaking Fiorini.
Loses maybe the best short stick D-midi in the country in Peter Dirth. There's Brendan Curry! Off the pipe and in! He may not leave the field, a three-time captain, and the redshirt senior makes it 2-0.
Ouch! He just tags this corner, Anish. Curry's the most versatile player on the Syracuse team. He won't leave the field. He can play up and down, defense, lightning speed, and this is just my feet are quicker than your feet. You can't catch me. He blazes down the alley.
Teo Corsi, a freshman. We'll see some new faces in that midfield. Big strength the last few years. Brendan Curry with his second. The three-time All-American, the hangry chef, is cooking.
Yeah, we'll talk about his skills in the kitchen, but his skills as a midfielder right now, word on the street is he dominated the Loyola scrimmage a week ago. He's playing at a different level. And the speed of Curry. A lot of guys are shifty guys. Will be one.
The ground by Syracuse. Transition opportunity. Sam Alexo to Seabold. 4-0 Cuse.
He's smiling. As
not a big deal. Gary Gate embraces that positionless lacrosse style that's now in vogue.
Yeah, I also think he just gives an added dimension on plays like that. We talk about Brendan Curry, Anish, being a speed dodger. Tucker Dordevic has speed, but it's the first step. So Curry is that strider. Dordevic gives you a dodging presence from behind the cage. You watch here, it's just that quick little hesitation. He beats his defender on the first step. And you see the awareness around goal line extended, and his passing ability were next level as a freshman.
Syracuse can't miss. It is 6-0 Orange.
Anish, you know when you know it's a great shot? You hear the pipe. On all three of Curry's goals, you've heard the pipe. That tells you about the accuracy. You're not going to step up and play him. He's playing on a different level. He's absolutely hammering corners right now. Wow. Is depth, right? You see Curry, you see Dordevic. There's a lot of unknowns with Hiltz now injured. Doesn't say, though, that these guys can't step up and have great seasons. There's a lot of just young guys.
How about the feed and Mikey Berkman with the first goal of
IMG, but it's just great to see this national roster for Syracuse.
Yeah, we went back to it, right? You got Oregon, Texas, and Florida on attack at Syracuse. Unheard of, but here we are. And Owen Seabold, Dallas, Texas, Highland Park, same high school as Clayton Kershaw and Matthew Stafford, who's got a big game tomorrow, and it is 8-0 Syracuse. You could not have drawn up a better start for Gary Gate.
Yeah, we've seen some dodging and we've seen some spot shooting from Curry and Seabold. Seabold's showing you range. Earlier, stung one from the point on a fast break. This one on the low.
Dordevic to Griffin Cook, absorbs the hit. 5 seconds. There's Curry, a first quarter hat trick already. Shoots and scores! An absolute Hadouken from Brendan Curry. 4 in the first quarter for Curry and 9 for the Orange.
He's been amazing. The one head scratcher I have here was that Dawson Friars started in the cage after A.J. Fox was spectacular last year. Now, in all due respect, Dawson Friars might be out playing A.J. Fox every day in practice. But A.J. Fox had experience, and he played brilliant last year in the Dome. And Friars got thrown into the...
Right on the doorstep, and a slam dunk for Seabold. Give him a hat. Dinano trying to work around Brett Kennedy, and Dean Dinano gets Holy Cross on the board with 13:07 to go in the second quarter.
Yeah, this is a nice play by Dinano, and when you see him come out of his dodge, look where Bobby Gavin is, right? Bobby Gavin bites low. Dinano just drops his left foot and then turns and understands that Bobby Gavin bites and thinks Dinano's shooting low, and then he sticks it high. That is really good awareness by the lefty from Wilton, Connecticut.
They're nursing some injuries right now on defense. Landon Clary, one of their LSMs, Nick DiPietro, still working his way back from a torn ACL he suffered last year. Another goal for Syracuse. Curry assisted on that one. It is 11-1, Cuse.
So Brendan Curry has the 4 goals in the first quarter. Now they're putting a long stick on him every time, which they should. He had some short stick matchups in the first quarter, but they're also going to hedge and make sure they can support his speed dodging ability. With that said, then you're softer on the wings. And when you're softer on the wing, you're going to get a guy like Dordovic.
Who's the head coach at Johns Hopkins, wasn't coaching last year. He feels he has something to prove. And so does a team that, frankly, has not really had much success. Owen Seabold with his 4th goal of the game. This is a Syracuse team, Kark. In your heyday, if you didn't win a championship by the time you were done, it was, what the heck are you doing? Well, this is a team that's got 5 years since winning the playoff game.
Well, they've got life, they've got energy, and when you talk to people around the program, they love playing for Gary Gate and Dave Petramala, and you're going to get their best shot. And they're probably sick and tired of hearing, like, do we have the talent to make a run? And there's good play.
On March 2nd, we did that game last year. Army absolutely throttled Syracuse. Jace Lambert, 3 goals in Holy Cross's opener against Providence, finds the back of the net. He led Holy Cross with 9 goals a season ago.
Yeah, you want to talk about throttling. He throttles the top shelf. Some of the shooting on display today from Syracuse and then Jace Lambert has been spectacular. Look at the accuracy there. I mean, to step up, defensive pressure coming up, too late there on the rotation from Kennedy. And that is the guy for Holy Cross. The hat trick against Providence. He's networking opportunities. So I think the sell will be easier when JL has some time.
The onslaught continues.
The hangry chef and the boys. They're cooking it. Look at the speed, too. This is ridiculous. His straight line speed is so good that the entire Holy Cross defense, where are their heads and their eyes? Right on Curry, because they know they need to support.
Like that, don't you have to get into his hands a little quicker?
Yeah, you know, that's the type of guy when you're adjacent, you need to actually meet him. Wow.
Mateo Corsi, his first career goal, the freshman out of Michigan. Everybody's eating today.
You know, I met Mateo last summer when I watched him play in an all-star game, and I was really impressed with his quickness. He's a player from the state of Michigan, loved the sport of lacrosse so much, headed down to IMG. See that little fake, too? That little fake there held the defense, right? So he gets the first step and separates, but that little fake.
Next, the season, Furman shuttered its program, and Tenaglia did not play last year due to injury, transferred to Syracuse. The Orange strike again.
You know, with the injuries to guys like Jacob Buttermore and Lucas Quinn, who are a little nicked up, and we don't know their timetable, young guys like Corsi and Matt Mangan, who doesn't have a ton of experience, are going to get opportunities to shine. This is a really nice initial dodge by Johnny Cohn, another freshman, to Mangan, who's been part of the program for a few years.
15 goals in in this first half for Syracuse. Looking for 16, they get it. It's Dordovic. He's now the third Syracuse player with a hat trick in this first half.
Yeah, the Cuse is loving it. And when you have two scrimmages, and from all accounts, one went well, one didn't. They scrimmaged Michigan, they scrimmaged Loyola. I was anxious to see what type of Cuse would come out in their first official game with Gary Gates.
Said and done. John Tillman's going to have at least 3 or 4 national titles. Here's Damio Latamoye. Over to Seabold. Top shelf. 17-2. 4 for Seabold. The Cuse can't be stopped right now.
This is
a burst. Rice over to Seabold. Dordovic. BTB.
Oh, that's
4
right.
for Tucker Dordovic.
Hey, Anish, you're not going to get pulled if you miss that shot either when you play for Gary Gate. You didn't get pulled for that shot with John Desko either. Coach Desko with an incredible career, 5 national titles. Gary Gates in town now, 5th coach in program history in over 100 years. Well, what does that tell you? Consistency in terms of creativity. Dordovic's losing his angle there, and the righty behind the back shot is just what the doctor ordered, and the sideline loves it. Like Pat Cavanaugh at Notre Dame doing some ridiculous things. The game didn't look like that before Gary Gate.
He was an evolutionary catalyst for the sport. Mikey Berkman tallies another. That's 3 for the redshirt sophomore out of Florida. All-time leader in points and assists in the Sunshine State. And the Cuse is at 19 in the first half.
Wow. And Mikey Berkman was one of those unknowns, right? We were talking about guys in the lineup that we haven't seen in game action step up. And much more apparent, but there's unbelievable talent in Division III. There always has been. I just think there's more.
Another goal by the Cuse. Tyler Cordes. The first goal of his career.
You know, Cordes had a great lefty feed in the first half. This time now he shows you his shooting ability. 29 in white, the freshman from Long Island. That is a really, really well.
Star attackman, poised for a big sophomore season. Arm in a sling, he's going to be out for a while. Dordovic from the right wing. Another for Tucker Dordovic. That's 5.
And another pipe. The music from the shooters at Syracuse today has been on display. Curry has hit corners with pipe noises 4 times. Dordovic with a couple. Look at the placement on this. Like, just hugging the... Obviously had the injuries. He still has another year of eligibility after this year.
Here comes Savage. He's greedy. 22-3. Jack Savage. First career goal for the...
Yeah, and the bad news is they're both really good recruiters. Different kinds of recruiters. You know, Bobby Benson, I think. Whoa! Tenaglia with another snipe. This is nuts. Anish, the pinpoint accuracy of the shooters at Syracuse. Like, I've never heard this much iron in a game, right? Like, they are hammering the corners. And when you think of not allow Harrison Thompson to still have a say in this goalie battle.
Ian Ferris, the bouncer. It is 24-3, a field goal tacked on to the 3 touchdowns.
You know, we saw Ferris as a true freshman a year ago. He's a converted attackman playing in the midfield with a lot of opportunities to shine. Him and his mates are absolutely crushing it offensively. It's been all.
The LSM in the passing lane. Syracuse, meanwhile, picked to finish 5th in the ACC, and it's not really a surprise if you've been following, as Aburn gets the slam dunk to make it 25-3. Virginia the favorite. Duke is loaded again. Quint and I did the North Carolina game yesterday. Some new faces in the midfield and on defense, but they still have Chris Gray. They're 21-3 with Gray in the lineup. And Kark, the buzz around Notre Dame is this might be Kevin Corrigan's best team in South.
He's probably the youngest defender that can make a huge impact in 2022. As we see Holy Cross and TJ Lynch, one of their mainstays, been a big goal scorer for them for the last couple seasons. JL Reppert's boys are not letting this game go without getting after a bit, showing some resolve and some fight. And that's Fiorini playing defense. 22 class coming to Syracuse, the high school class of 22. You mentioned Carolina will be the #1 class of freshmen this year. Syracuse will have the best class in the country next season, and their 22 will be the #1 recruit in the country, and Joey Spallina. So you mentioned they're coming. They're coming at Syracuse, and don't tell the version of the Orange team this year that they're coming. The time is now for them to get respect.
Blake
Earlbeck. Yeah. Torrey Pine.
First in a Syracuse uniform the last time the Orange won a playoff game. That was Kennedy and DiPietro in 17 when Syracuse beat Yale in the first round as Holy Cross tallies its 5th goal.
Yeah, Matt Major for Holy Cross with a nice finish off of a transition play. But Anish, I think from
going to the first round or going to the quarters, it's not enough. What does Quint always say before we do a quarterfinal game? Nobody remembers a quarterfinal loser. Another goal by the Cuse. It's Basil Aburn. That's our good buddy Dan Aburn's cousin, by the way, who used to write for Inside Lacrosse. Nobody remembers a quarterfinal loser. If you're another program, you get the championship weekend. That team is having reunions. They're remembered forever. Kark, at Syracuse, do they remember championship weekend teams or do they remember champions?
Champions. How about this look by Cone? A little quick little jitterbug foot speed up that rooted for Syracuse and a part of the program. You get a little spoiled to some extent. I look at what like John Tillman's done with the game changing in the last decade. What has Maryland been to 7 Final Fours? You could argue that is harder than going to 22 straight Final Fours during the years when Syracuse went, because the game has changed in so much.
In the history of the sport and the history of the program. And he puts an exclamation on win #1. 28-5, the final score. The Gary Gate era starts with a win. An opening statement up there with Call Me Ishmael and I Am Born.